Hey, what's going on, you guys? Chef Schomburg here. And if you are looking to start your baking business off with some success, then I've got some great tips for you. Or have you ever wondered, what exactly am I actually supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be tracking each month? And how do I know how to prepare and how if I'm getting better or if I'm doing things the right way? Anywho, if you've ever had those thoughts, then this is going to answer all those. Sit tight and we're going to go over how to plan and what you should pay attention to plan a successful month in your baking business. All right, you guys, Chef Schomburg here, and I am super big on planning. For those of you guys who probably follow me on Instagram, or maybe if you're new, but I definitely believe in planning. If you do not plan, or as the saying goes, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So oftentimes when we're new, or even when we've been in the game a long time, we might not know exactly, okay, what should I be paying attention to? So this is something that you want to do at the start of every month, not the beginning of the new year, not the end of the year, not the middle, but each and every single month, you want to make sure that you're planning and that you're checking the things that you need to be checking in order to guarantee your success. So one of the first things is that you should actually have a goal tracker. Now, this may be something that's already in a notebook. Maybe if you have like the cake and cookie planner, or maybe if you have like a gratitude journal or some type of other planner, but you want to be tracking your goals. Number one, meaning that you want to set out to actually see what it is that you want to do for the month. And the reason why you want to track that is because when you look towards the end of the month, you want to actually hold yourself accountable. So if you just do things and you're flying by the seat each and every day, then when you look back, you're going to say, well, man, I don't know if I really accomplished the things that I want to accomplish. However, if you write down your goals, and I'm a firm believer in write the vision, make it plain, drop a comment below if you believe in that as well, then you're able to come back to the month and see if you actually accomplish those. Now, when I say goals too, let's just try to be serious with the goals. So if you've been baking and your goal is to maybe make an additional $500 a month, don't all of a sudden set a goal to go from like $500 a month to 5,000, unless you know that you're running thousands of dollars on ads and you've done something to actually generate that bump up. But it's okay to set small, reasonable goals for yourself. I do believe that small steps usually lead to big victories. So sometimes we could pile a lot on ourselves and we give ourselves a lot of things to do. Give yourself a little bit of grace to actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Now, one of those for me is always sales. Hello, because if you're in business, you're in business to make a profit. So you definitely want to track your sales goals. And when I say sales, I mean the money that you generate. So your revenue, whatever it is that you generate for the month. So if your goal is to say, hey, I want to do 500 in sales, then you're going to set out a monthly goal and say, okay, this month I'm going to do 500 in sales. How do you break that down per week? What does that look like? So breaking it down into simple steps will allow you to see if you're getting close or if you're far, what things need to be fine-tuned and adjusted in order to help you reach your goals. So set serious goals. And one of the best goals to set for the month is an income goal. So go ahead and set a goal for yourself as to how much money you want to be bringing in your business, how many sales that you want to be generating. So number two, when I start the month off, one of the things that I love to actually track is my analytics from my payment processing system. Now, I love Square. I don't know about you, but I love me some Square. Square has amazing benefits, features. They're always adding things for business owners and they have amazing support. However, some other ones include PayPal. Maybe you use Stripe if you have e-commerce items or things like that. But whatever your payment processing system is, what you want to do is you want to track those analytics. And I'm going to break down each and every month what it is that you should be checking for with your payment processing system. So one of the first things is you actually want to set a goal. When you set your goal for the month with your sales, you want to then look at the source like I said, your payment processing, the source in which you brought in your sales, and you want to break those sales down. So look at the items that you sold the most. One thing that I like to do is I like to hold myself accountable and say, okay, this month I'm going to sell X amount of layer cakes, or this month I'm going to do X amount of corporate orders, or this month maybe we're going to do this much at a market, a festival, fair, or something like that. So what I love about Square is that it will actually tell you the exact amount of items that you sold. It'll tell you what your most popular item is. That research is so valuable. And that's one reason why, like when you're totally new, if you're starting, like taking payments with the Cash App, the Venmo, no, you got to stop that. You're a business owner. You need to think, act, move like a business owner. When you do so, then people will respect you as such. But another reason why you can't use systems like that is because if you have nothing to track and nothing to go off of, then you never know, how am I getting better? What is it that my clients really want? You're leaving everything to your brain, and our brain is not a place to store information. Our brain is a place to have ideas and be creative, but there's things and systems for that. So that's why I like using an actual payment processing system. So within Square or PayPal, if you set up a product catalog, and that is a big tip, if you haven't already, please go ahead and give your products actual names, because when you name everything, don't just type up an invoice and put 8-inch cake or he wants a 10-inch lemon. Like, start actually creating a product catalog for yourself, because then you can go in, it'll make doing your invoices so much faster, and then you're able to let your payment processing system track all those items for you. So drop a comment below and let me know, do you have a product catalog in your payment processing system? So I would love to know if you do and if that helps. However, so when you have one, you're able to go in and it will tell you the exact items that you sold. It's going to tell you how many transactions that you took for the month. And that is something that you definitely want to track when you're starting a new month. Another thing that I love is it'll actually tell you your busiest time of the week. And that is really good, because if you know that you're particularly busy, let's say on a Monday or let's say on a Thursday, then when you prepare for the month and when you set your sales goals, you can know in advance the type of products that you need to have on hand, as well as the amount of products that you want to have on hand, so that you can actually take those sales as they come in. So that's why, another reason again, why I love checking and tracking, because it kind of gives me a little heads up as to how I'm going to do for that month. Another benefit that I love is that when you use Square or PayPal, what it will do is it will break down the customers that you receive. This is super important, because if you're putting money towards advertising, such as in your magazine, such as running local ads or ads on social media, you want to actually know if you're getting some traffic from those ads and things that you're running. So if you're able to look and actually tell how many new customers that you get, then that's a really good way to help you gauge and to see if you're actually bringing in new clientele. Now, bringing in new customers doesn't always bring in new money. You definitely want to make sure you're selling to the existing customers that you have, but it's just nice to see if new traffic is being brought to your business. So checking your payment processing analytics and checking your metrics within that, that is a definite way to start out the new month. All right, so one of the third things that I love is to actually create your monthly marketing material. Now, when you sit down, a lot of times we'll just think of something like, okay, well, I want to have a sale, well, I want to do this, and there's not really any intention behind it. If you actually break it down, I like to actually give my months themes, and sometimes there's something that I may focus on for that month. It may be maybe a layer cake for the month, or I might look and maybe this month has a particular monthly observation, so then maybe I want to take an item that reflects that, and then I want to have a sale or I want to have a promotion based on that. So when I plan out my month, I typically plan out my marketing. I look at what ads will I be running? If I'll be having any sales that month, I like to fill out my promotional calendar. You need to have a promotional calendar in your business. That way you can track the promotions that you open and close, and you can track your success rate with those, as well as a content calendar. If you're a person that's on social media, a lot of times I know my students are like, I don't have time, or I didn't post today, or I wish I was more consistent when I post. So you look back and the day has gone by. So I totally understand if you feel that way, trust me. But if you start the month off with success, then one of the things that you can do is you can actually plan all that stuff in advance for the month. So plan out your marketing material. You know, there's great sites such as Hootsuite and Planoly. Even for free, Facebook has their business suite, and that will allow you to plan and schedule your posts ahead of time. That way you're not waiting until the last minute. And that way you're making sure that you show up and you post consistently. So tip number 3 for the month is plan out all of your marketing and promotional material. All right, and my last tip for planning out your month. Now, I know these steps typically help you to plan out how you're going to handle your month business wise. But once you have the month plan, I actually want you to break those things down into weeks. So every week I have what's called a tiger time, or some people may refer to it as their admin day. But it's a day out of the week that I make sure that I'm working on my business. I'm doing the things in the back end that I need to do to succeed instead of just always working in my business. So once you have the month broken down, what I want you to do is make sure you break down the week. And in that week, I like to include a baking schedule. For me, I do a lot of corporate orders. I do a lot of orders for the hospital or CarMax or Target and places like that. So my baking schedule may fluctuate. So every week I look and I set up a baking schedule for myself. Now, even though it fluctuates and changes, I still like to have a schedule. So I know some people, the general rule of thumb is they may bake all their cakes on Wednesday. They may make all their buttercreams and stuff on Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday, they're leaving that time to actually assemble their cake. So if that works for you, that may be a baking schedule that you may want to put into your business. I was speaking to a student one time, and she was telling me, I get so tired of just making a cake and then it's always moving around and it doesn't really get cold. It doesn't really get cold quick. And I was like, well, it's going to take time for it to get cold. Why are you not freezing it or making it the day before? And come to find out, she did not have a baking schedule. So she was like, you know what? I tried it one time. I made the cake the day before. The cake was cold and it was so much easier to ice. And I was like, hello, light bulb moment. Of course it was. So if you don't have a baking schedule in your business, you don't want to be making cakes, icing cakes, and decorating cakes all on the same day. You're going to wear yourself out. Trust me. One of the next things is that you want to make sure that you're scheduling time for yourself. I know that you are running a business, but too often as business owners, if we don't put that time in our calendars for the week, again, I don't want you to have burnout. And I also want you to be able to enjoy your business. You're an entrepreneur. You work for yourself. So if you feel like you're a slave and you're constantly answering to other people, then that's just a baker who has a job. You're eventually just going to feel like you have a job in your own business. So be sure that you're intentional and put the phone down, log off, spend time with your kids, make love to your husband, do whatever it is that brings you joy, or your wife if you're a guy baker, or whatever it is you like to make love to. But whatever it is that brings you joy, make sure you schedule time to actually do that. So that is something that I'm always super intentional with. I actually have a gratitude journal. Each and every day I write the things that I'm grateful for in my life, but I also write down the things that I'm grateful for in my business. Having a business that allows me to work from home is a blessing in itself. So make sure you take the time to appreciate all the little things. One of the other things I like to do, and I'm looking down here in my notes, so I make sure I can go over all the things I want to go over with you guys, is check my weekly website traffic. And that one is huge. So as I break things down for the week and I'm going over my baking schedule, I'm going over my goals, I'm operating in my business weekly, I'm making sure that I take the time to engage on the platforms where I post my criteria. Then I always like to check my website traffic. That's just another really important one, because I do have a website. Social media, those platforms are not owed to me. So what you want to make sure is, I hear a lot of bakers say, well, I got a website and no one visited. Well, if no one visited, then you you might want to check that. Are you being intentional? Are you sending people to your website? When they go to your website, do you have stuff on there that they actually want to view? A lot of times people will get websites and then they just never update them. So one of the last most important things, especially if you're a cottage baker, is you want to treat your website like your storefront. How many times do you go into Walmart and then you notice that for a holiday, they'll have like all the seasonal material and the seasonal sales and stuff. And immediately, as soon as that holiday is over, they're up and they're planning for the next month. Well, those are the same things that you want to do in your business. So every single month, I like to refresh my website. Not only does this help you rank higher when you're actually trying to get organic traffic and you're trying to have people find you online, but it also gives your website a nice look. You know, you don't want it to be December and then you have lemon cakes, or you don't want it to be the middle of July and you still have cookies with Santa. So you want to make sure that you change out those pictures. It keeps your website looking fresh and beautiful, and then it allows people to stay on your website longer. And that's another really great thing that helps you with ranking online, is when people do visit your site and they tend to actually stay on your website longer. That is a win-win. So when you plan out your month, be sure to keep all those tips in mind. That way you can plan for success. All right, so let me know, what is your favorite thing to track for the month? Are you a money person? Do you love tracking how much money you brought in for the month? Or are you maybe a social person? Do you love tracking and seeing how many new followers that you got, or how many people actually saved your posts and your work? Drop a comment below and let me know if these tips help you. And I hope you plan for a successful month every month and every day. Just be successful every day. All right. Bye, guys. Be sure to hit the bell and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this.